The tension in the sky was thick. The new Nari ship hovered just above New Hope's atmosphere, its dark shape blocking the sunlight. The humans watched nervously from the ground, unsure if the arriving ship meant peace or war. Princess Mira stood beside Ben near the landing site, feeling the weight of the moment. Her heart pounded, but she kept her voice calm. They do not understand why I came here. They fear humans because of old stories and ancient rules. Ben nodded. Fear can make people act without thinking, but we can show them there is hope. Mira looked at the faces of the humans gathered around her. They were waiting, watching, hoping. We must find a way to speak to them. The message from the Dark Nari ship was clear and strict. Return immediately. Princess Mira, your presence here is dangerous. You break the laws of our people. Mira took a deep breath. She felt her duty pulling her into directions. Loyalty to her people and the hope for something new. Ben stepped forward. Maybe they will listen if we speak directly. Let me try. With careful hands, Ben set up a communication link. The two ships began to send messages back and forth. The dark ship's leaders were cold and hard in their words, warning Mira to obey or face exile. Mira replied with quiet strength. I seek peace and friendship. I believe that humans can help us both learn and grow. The dark ship's captain responded. You risk your people's safety. Your actions may cause war. Ben watched the messages and thought hard. Fear is the enemy. We must break the ice. Show them kindness. Mira agreed. But how? They decided to send a small group of humans and Nari together to a neutral place, a small space station near the planet. It would be a place for talks, a chance to learn each other's true intentions. Ben helped prepare the human team. He chose scientists, diplomats, and guards who could stay calm under pressure. Mira spoke to her own people, persuading a few young Nari to join her. The day of the meeting arrived. The neutral space station was simple but beautiful, floating quietly among the stars. Humans and Nari entered the room carefully, eyes watching every movement. Ben and Mira stood side by side. This is our chance, Ben whispered. Let's make it count. At first, the meeting was tense. The older Nari elders spoke in formal, strict tones. The humans answered with calm honesty. Each side shared fears and hopes. Mira spoke for the Nari youth. Our people have lived by strict rules for many centuries. We fear change. But I see in humans a strength and a kindness that is new to us. A human scientist named Tara smiled gently. We humans learn by listening and trying. We don't always get it right, but we never stop trying. Slowly, the ice began to melt. The rigid walls of fear and suspicion softened as stories were told, questions were answered, and laughter was heard. Ben told a story about how humans had once feared the unknown, but had grown stronger by facing it. Mira shared tales of the stars and the Nari's search for peace. After many hours, a quiet moment came. Mira looked at the Nari elders and said, we do not have to be enemies. We can be friends. The oldest elder, a man named Vex, looked deeply at Mira for a long moment. He said nothing. Then, slowly, he nodded. It is time to rethink the old ways, he said softly. Perhaps the future is different from the past. Back on New Hope, news of the meeting spread quickly. People cheered the brave step toward peace. Ben and Mira became symbols of hope. But the journey was far from over. Some still feared what the future held. The Nari Council was divided. The humans worried about hidden dangers. Mira and Ben knew trust would take time. They promised to keep working, to keep talking, and to keep believing in a better tomorrow. As the stars shone bright over New Hope, two friends stood together, ready to face whatever came next. Days passed since the meeting at the space station, and something new was growing between the humans and the Nari. A small group of both species worked together, learning from each other. It was not easy. Old fears and old habits were hard to change, but the hope for peace kept them going. Princess Mira stayed on New Hope longer than anyone expected. She walked through the colony's streets with Ben by her side. People stared, some in wonder, some in fear. But Mira smiled, showing kindness and patience. She wanted to show the humans and her people that friendship was possible. Ben showed Mira the simple things of human life, the markets full of fresh food, children playing games, the music that filled the air during celebrations. Mira loved the colors and sounds. She was especially fascinated by the laughter of children. It was pure and free. One evening, they sat by a small river near the colony. The stars were bright, and the air was cool. Mira looked up and said, "I never knew there was so much beauty on a world like this." Ben smiled. "It is beautiful because people live here. We make it so." Mira's eyes shone. "I want my people to see this too." Meanwhile, in the Nari ship above the planet, the council was in deep discussion. Some elders were impressed by Mira's courage. Others were worried and angry. The old leader, Elder Vex, was trying to find a way to keep peace while honoring their traditions. He called a meeting with Mira. "Princess," he said, "you are brave. You have seen what humans can be. But you must remember your duty." Mira bowed her head. "I know, Elder Vex, but I also believe that we must change. We cannot live in fear forever." Vex sighed. "Change is slow. Your actions give hope. But be careful. Not everyone will accept this." On New Hope, Ben and Mira worked with the colony's leaders to build a small center for human Nari exchange. It was a place where both species could meet, share knowledge, and build trust. Scientists worked side by side, studying each other's technology. Mira's people had advanced machines that could heal wounds quickly. Humans shared their farming methods that helped the land grow strong. Ben helped teach Mira human ways of problem solving, how to listen and work as a team. Mira shared stories of the stars and her people's journeys, teaching humans to look beyond their world. One day, while working in the exchange center, Mira met a young human girl named Lena. Lena was curious and full of questions. "Why do your people stay so far away?" Lena asked. Mira smiled softly. "We were taught to be careful, but I want to learn to be brave, like you." Lena laughed. "You are brave. You came all this way." Mira felt warmth in her heart. She wanted her people to know this feeling, the joy of friendship and trust. But not everyone was happy. Some humans still feared the aliens. A group of colonists protested, saying the Nari could not be trusted. They believed the aliens might take over their world. Ben spoke to the crowd. "We must not let fear control us. We are stronger when we work together." Slowly, the protests quieted. The promise of peace and friendship was stronger than fear. One night, Mira received a message from the Nari Council. They invited her to return home. It was a test. If she left, it would show she still obeyed. If she stayed, it could mean rebellion. Mira thought of Ben, the colony, and the new friendships. She knew what she must do. "I will stay," she told the council, "because peace is worth the risk." The council was silent. Then Elder Vex spoke. "We respect your choice, Princess, but be warned, the path you take will not be easy." Mira felt the weight of those words but was ready. She was no longer just a princess of the stars. She was a bridge between two worlds. Back on New Hope, Ben and Mira stood together looking at the stars. "We have started something good," Ben said. Mira nodded. "Yes, and it will grow stronger." The bridge between worlds had been built, one small step at a time. It was a bridge of hope, trust, and the belief that different worlds could come together in peace. Peace was growing between the humans and the Nari, but not everyone was happy about it. In the quiet corners of New Hope, whispers of doubt and fear spread like shadows. Old fears died hard, and some people worried the friendship with the aliens might bring trouble instead of hope. Ben felt the weight of these worries every day. Though many cheered for the new bond, others watched him and Princess Mira with suspicion. Some thought the aliens were too different, that they could never truly understand humans. Others feared that the Nari's advanced technology might be used to control or harm. One afternoon, Ben walked through the busy market with Mira. The sun was warm, and children played nearby. But even in the light, Ben could feel the cold eyes watching them. Some shoppers stopped speaking when Mira passed by. Mira noticed too. Did they not trust me? she asked quietly. Ben shook his head. Some people fear what they do not understand, but we will show them the truth. Suddenly, a voice called out from the crowd. How can you trust her? She is not like us. Ben turned and saw a man, angry and shouting. Others nearby began to join in, their voices rising. Mira took a deep breath. She stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. I came here for peace, to learn and to help. The crowd quieted for a moment, but the fear was still there, like a dark cloud. Back in the Nari ship above, the council was also divided. Some elders worried that Mira's choice to stay on New Hope might cause problems. They sent secret messages to other Nari ships, warning them to prepare for possible conflict. Elder Vex watched Mira closely. He wanted to protect his people, but also saw the truth in her words. Princess, he said one evening, the path you have chosen is hard. There are those who do not want peace. Mira nodded. I know, but I will not stop. Meanwhile, a strange event shook the colony. One night, a small explosion occurred near the exchange center. No one was hurt, but the damage was clear. Someone wanted to send a message, a warning against friendship with the aliens. Ben and Mira worked with the colony's guards to find who was responsible. They believed that fear and anger were behind the attack. This is a test, Ben told Mira. We must stay strong. Mira agreed. Peace will win, but only if we do not give up. At the same time, Mira received a private message from a Nari elder named Solon. He was one of the few who supported her. Solon warned her that the Nari Council was growing more divided, and that some might take action to force her to return home. We must be careful, Solon wrote. There are those who see your choice as a threat. Mira shared the message with Ben. Together, they planned to bring more Nari youth to New Hope, hoping that friendship could spread and heal old fears. In the following weeks, several young Nari arrived, curious and eager to learn about humans. They lived in the colony, studied human life, and worked alongside the scientists. Slowly, the walls of fear began to break down. Even some of the older Nari started to see the benefits of friendship. One evening, during a festival in New Hope, Mira stood with Ben watching humans and Nari celebrate together. Music filled the air, and laughter echoed through the streets. Mira whispered, "This is why I stayed. To see this, to build a future." Ben smiled. "We still have challenges, but together we are stronger." Just then, an alert sounded. The colony's sensors detected a new Nari ship approaching rapidly. This ship was different, larger, and armed. The council on the dark ship had sent forces to stop Mira's friendship with the humans. They wanted to bring her back by force. Mira's heart raced. She looked at Ben and the people around her. "We must prepare." Ben nodded. "We will protect New Hope. We will protect peace." The sky above the colony darkened as the new Nari ship moved closer. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. The fight for peace had only just begun. The dark Nari ship loomed above New Hope like a silent storm. Its engines hummed low and powerful, sending a wave of tension through the colony. People hurried to prepare defenses. But no one wanted violence, not after all the hope that had been built. Princess Mira stood on the ground, looking up at the ship. Her face was calm but determined. Beside her, Ben checked the communication devices. They needed to talk to the new rivals, to try to stop conflict before it began. A loud voice came over the colony's speakers. It was the captain of the dark ship. "Princess Mira, you have broken the laws of our people. You must return immediately, or we will be forced to act." Mira stepped forward. "I will not return unless I know peace is possible. I came here to build trust, not war." The captain's voice grew colder. "Your choice endangers the Nari. Stand down." Ben's hand touched Mira's. "We can still find a way to stop this." Mira nodded. "Let me try to speak with them face to face." The colony's leaders agreed to allow Mira and a small team to board the dark ship for talks. It was risky, but the chance for peace was worth it. Ben helped prepare the team. They included scientists, diplomats, and a few trusted guards. Mira chose to bring Solon, the young Nari elder who supported her, hoping his presence would help. The group entered a small shuttle and rose toward the dark ship. Inside, the air was cold and quiet. The walls were gray and smooth, with bright lights that made everything look sharp and serious. They were led to a large room where the captain and several elders waited. The captain's face was stern. "Princess Mira, you have brought trouble." Mira looked around calmly. "I bring hope. We can find peace together." An elder named Reith spoke. "You betray your people by staying with humans. Why should we trust this?" Solon stepped forward. "Because we see what the future can be. The young Nari want change. We want to learn from the humans." Reith's eyes narrowed. "You are a small group. The council will not follow this path." Mira held her ground. "Then let us begin here. Let us show you the proof that peace can work." Ben added, "We can share technology, knowledge, and friendship. We want to build, not destroy." The captain studied them in silence. Then he spoke slowly. "You will be tested. If you prove that your friendship does not harm the Nari, we may allow it. But if you fail, you will be punished." Mira accepted the challenge. "We are ready." The test was simple but difficult. Both sides had to work together to solve a crisis, a sudden problem with the colony's power system that threatened the lives of many humans. And Nari living there. The dark ship's technology was powerful but complex. The humans did not understand it well. Mira and Ben's team had to combine human creativity with Nari precision. Hours passed as they worked side by side. Arguments and mistakes happened, but slowly. Progress was made. Ben found a way to reroute the power using a human device, and Solon helped modify the Nari system to accept the change. The power returned, lights came back on, and the colony's people cheered. The elders on the dark ship watched carefully. Some faces showed surprise and respect. The captain nodded. "You have passed the test." Mira smiled but knew the path was still long. This is only the beginning. Returning to New Hope, the team was greeted with joy. The victory was small but important, proof that two different worlds could work together. Yet, Mira felt the weight of responsibility. The council's approval was fragile, and old fears still lingered. She knew she must keep building trust. Step by step, Ben stood beside her. "You have done well, but the future depends on many hands, not just ours." Mira looked at the stars above. "We will need the courage of many to walk this path." The bond between humans and Nari had been tested and found strong enough to survive. But the galaxy was wide, and many challenges lay ahead. For now, hope burned bright on New Hope, shining like a beacon, a promise that even across great distances, friendship could grow. The morning sun rose over New Hope, casting golden light across the colony. For the first time in a long while, the people felt a quiet peace. The dark clouds of fear and war had begun to fade, replaced by something new. Hope, Princess Mira, stood on a small hill overlooking the town. The wind gently lifted her hair as she watched children of both humans and Nari playing together. Their laughter filled the air, a sound she had dreamed of for many years. Ben approached quietly. "It is good to see this," he said softly. Mira smiled. "Yes, but it is just the beginning. We must keep working." The tests had been hard, the fears deep, but the bond between their two peoples was growing stronger. The council on the dark Nari ship had agreed to allow more Nari to visit New Hope and learn from the humans. In return, the humans would study the Nari's advanced technology and share their own knowledge. This exchange was a new chapter in their history, one that promised friendship and peace, instead of fear and war. But peace was not easy. Some who still doubted watched closely, waiting for mistakes. Mira and Ben knew that trust would take time, and every small step mattered. One afternoon, a message arrived from the Nari Council, a formal invitation for Mira to speak at a grand gathering of Nari leaders and humans alike. It was a chance to show the world that unity was possible. Mira prepared carefully. She chose her words with hope and honesty, ready to face old doubts and new questions. The day of the gathering arrived. Leaders, scientists, and citizens from both worlds filled a large hall on New Hope. The air buzzed with nervous energy. Mira stepped onto the stage, looking out at the crowd. Her voice was steady and clear. "Friends from many worlds, she began, "We have come far. We have faced fear and doubt, but we stand here today because we chose hope." She told stories of the struggles and victories they had shared. She spoke of the children playing together, of the scientists working side by side, of the future they could build. "We are different," she said, "but those differences make us stronger. Together, we can reach the stars and beyond." The crowd listened, some with tears in their eyes, others with smiles of understanding. When Mira finished, a deep silence filled the room. Then, slowly, applause began, soft at first, then growing louder until it filled the hall with warmth. Ben joined Mira on the stage, proud and hopeful. Together, they looked out at the crowd, a symbol of what was possible. After the gathering, many came forward to speak with Mira and Ben. Old fears were replaced by questions and ideas. Plans were made for more exchanges, more learning, more friendship. In the days that followed, Mira received messages from Nari leaders across the galaxy. Many were inspired by her courage and the example set on New Hope. One message came from Elder Vex, the wise leader who had once warned her of the challenges. He wrote, "You have changed the course of our people. Your bravery shows us a better way." Mira smiled as she read the words. The long journey had been hard, but every step had been worth it. Ben and Mira often walked together in the evenings, talking about what had been and what was to come. "We have made a bridge," Ben said, "but the journey across it is just beginning." Mira nodded, "And we will walk it together." The stars above twinkled like distant promises, shining brightly over a new dawn for humans and Nari, a dawn of friendship, trust, and shared dreams. As the sun set on New Hope, Mira and Ben looked forward with hope in their hearts, ready to face the future side by side as friends. The morning sun rose over New Hope, casting golden light across the colony. For the first time in a long while, the people felt a quiet peace. The dark clouds of fear and war had begun to fade, replaced by something new. Hope, Princess Mira, stood on a small hill overlooking the town. The wind gently lifted her hair as she watched children of both humans and Nari playing together. Their laughter filled the air, a sound she had dreamed of for many years. Ben approached quietly. "It is good to see this," he said softly. Mira smiled. "Yes, but it is just the beginning. We must keep working. The tests have been hard, the fears deep, but the bond between their two peoples was growing stronger." The council on the Dark Nari ship had agreed to allow more Nari to visit New Hope and learn from the humans. In return, the humans would study the Nari's advanced technology and share their own knowledge. This exchange was a new chapter in their history, one that promised friendship and peace, instead of fear and war. But peace was not easy. Some who still doubted watched closely, waiting for mistakes. Mira and Ben knew that trust would take time, and every small step mattered. One afternoon, a message arrived from the Nari Council, a formal invitation for Mira to speak at a grand gathering of Nari leaders and humans alike. It was a chance to show the world that unity was possible. Mira prepared carefully. She chose her words with hope and honesty, ready to face old doubts and new questions. The day of the gathering arrived. Leaders, scientists, and citizens from both worlds filled a large hall on New Hope. The air buzzed with nervous energy. Mira stepped onto the stage, looking out at the crowd. Her voice was steady and clear. "Friends from many worlds," she began, "we have come far. We have faced fear and doubt, but we stand here today because we chose hope." She told stories of the struggles and victories they had shared. She spoke of the children playing together, of the scientists working side by side, of the future they could build. "We are different," she said, "but those differences make us stronger. Together, we can reach the stars and beyond." The crowd listened, some with tears in their eyes, others with smiles of understanding. When Mira finished, a deep silence filled the room. Then, slowly, applause began, soft at first, then growing louder until it filled the hall with warmth. Ben joined Mira on the stage, proud and hopeful. Together, they looked out at the crowd, a symbol of what was possible. After the gathering, many came forward to speak with Mira and Ben. Old fears were replaced by questions and ideas. Plans were made for more exchanges, more learning, more friendship. In the days that followed, Mira received messages from Nari leaders across the galaxy. Many were inspired by her courage, and the example set on New Hope. One message came from Elder Vex, the wise leader who had once warned her of the challenges. He wrote, "You have changed the course of our people. Your bravery shows us a better way." Mira smiled as she read the words. The long journey had been hard, but every step had been worth it. Ben and Mira often walked together in the evenings, talking about what had been and what was to come. "We have made a bridge," Ben said, "but the journey across it is just beginning." Mira nodded, "And we will walk it together." The stars above twinkled like distant promises, shining brightly over a new dawn for humans and Nari, a dawn of friendship, trust, and shared dreams. As the sun set on New Hope, Mira and Ben looked forward with hope in their hearts, ready to face the future side by side as friends. Zane sat alone in his small apartment, staring at the strange message glowing on his computer screen. It was not like the usual emails or news alerts he received every day. This message was different. It was simple, clear, and very strange. It said, "Only you may enter, human." Zane blinked and read the words again. He thought it must be a joke or some kind of prank, but the message came from deep space, from an unknown source far beyond the stars. His heart beat faster. How could someone send him a message from space? And why would it say only he could enter? Zane worked as a technician in a small space agency. His job was fixing and testing equipment used for space missions. He was not famous, not a hero, just an ordinary person. He had never dreamed of meeting aliens or traveling to distant planets. Yet, here he was, staring at a message that might change everything. The message included coordinates and a time. It invited him to come to a place called Suri Prime, a planet no one had visited before. The message was signed by an unknown sender who called themselves the Alien Queen. Zane felt a mix of fear and excitement. What if this was real? What if someone, or something, really wanted to meet him? For hours, Zane thought about what to do. He could ignore the message and pretend it never came. But something inside him told him this was important. He wanted to know the truth. He wanted to find out why only he could enter. Finally, with a deep breath, Zane made his decision. He would go. The next day, Zane went to the space agency and asked for permission to take a small shuttle to Suri Prime. His supervisors were shocked. No one had ever heard of the planet. They warned him it might be dangerous and said he should not go alone. But Zane was determined. He said, "This might be my chance to learn something new, to see if humans are really alone in the universe." After many questions and warnings, they gave him a small shuttle with enough fuel and supplies for the journey. Zane packed his bags, checked the shuttle's systems, and prepared for launch. He felt nervous, but also hopeful. Maybe this trip would show him a new world, a new future. As Zane sat in the pilot's seat, the engine started to hum. The shuttle lifted off slowly from Earth's surface, moving toward the stars. The blue planet grew smaller behind him. He watched the sky turn dark, filled with shining stars. He was leaving everything familiar behind. Days passed as the shuttle traveled through space. Zane spent his time reading the message again and again. He tried to imagine what Suri Prime looked like. Was it a peaceful world? A dangerous place? Were the aliens friendly or hostile? So many questions filled his mind. One night, Zane looked out the window and saw a beautiful sight. A ring of bright lights surrounded a distant planet. It glowed softly, with colors he had never seen before. The message was right. This must be Suri Prime. As the shuttle entered the planet's atmosphere, Zane felt the engines shake. The view outside changed to green forests and sparkling cities. Everything looked alive and strange. He landed carefully near a large palace made of shining crystals. The light bounced off the walls like a rainbow. Zane stepped out, feeling the soft ground under his feet. The air smelled fresh and clean. Suddenly, a group of tall, graceful creatures appeared. They looked different from humans, but not scary. Their skin was smooth and shining. their eyes bright and kind. One of them stepped forward. She wore a crown made of stars and jewels. Zane knew at once she was the alien queen. Her voice was calm and warm when she spoke. "Welcome, Zane," she said. "We have waited for you. Only you may enter our world because you carry a special gift that can save us all." Zane felt stunned. How did she know his name? What was this special gift? He wanted to ask many questions, but felt the queen's eyes on him, full of hope and trust. The alien queen led him inside the palace. The walls glowed softly, showing pictures of stars and galaxies. Strange machines hummed quietly. Zane felt like he was in a dream, a place beyond his imagination. She said, "You are the first human to step into Suri Prime. We believe humans have a strength that others do not. We need your courage and heart to help us face a great danger." Zane's mind raced. What kind of danger? Could he really help? He was just one man, after all. But looking at the queen's face, he felt something deep inside him. Maybe he was meant to be here. The palace doors closed behind them. Zane knew his life was about to change forever.